Hey there, all you Banter Biscuits, it's Seth, and I know you're probably wondering or thinking to yourselves right now, why just Seth? Well, Garrett's actually going to say something at the end of this episode, but Garrett and I felt that because we're releasing our 50th episode live this Monday at 8 p.m., it would be appropriate for us to release a best of episode today for you guys to listen to until we go live this Monday. I would just like to say thank you to all of you Banter Biscuits that have been putting up with us for the past 50 episodes. We truly do not deserve you guys, but at the same time, we are absolutely grateful that you have stuck around with us this long. Thank you for all the topic ideas, suggestions, comments, and just sticking around with us for the past 50 episodes. Please enjoy Best of Banter Gravy Part 3.
You're like, you don't want to know. That's a bad turtle.
Yeah,
and then he pops out with some nunchucks.
Oh my gosh!
Wait, hold on.
Okay, yeah.
The guy, the TSA. We're gonna make a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle joke.
Yeah, kind of. Go ahead.
The man's patting him down, and he he feels it on his thigh, and it's like a bump, and he's like, hero and a half shell. And then the guy just kneels over and goes, turtle power. And then the turtle just whips out nunchucks and goes, yeah.
No, but what I pictured to add just to the end of that, and the turtle goes and takes out nunchucks, and then it just goes really slowly.
Yeah, but the music is still playing, but the camera doesn't. The camera is just assuming that it's slow motion, and then it pans back, and the guys are like, "We can just dodge this." And
then they're just like,
and he's like,
and a rat just pops out of the guy's hair. He's like, "Run, Splinter, run!"
So it's dry, and I'm like, I have to get some like money in so that I can like afford this gift for Audrey. And I'm like, it's just bone dry. It's nothing. It's not. So I pray, and I'm like, God, I don't ask for much.
And God's like, oh, really?
Could you?
Scrolls down the scroll, and he just goes all the way down.
It's like that episode of SpongeBob when he's like, and it's all the diapers.
Yeah, and God's and you just look up, just not a care in the world, looking at God. You're like, I meant today.
It's all the prayers. Yeah. Opens the closet door, and it's just my prayers fall out.
Yes, more prayers falling out. Yeah.
So I'm like, I need a solid, I need something, Yeah. I'm like, could you please give me one right now? Mm-hmm. And as soon as I do that and shake my hand at the phone, bloop, and it says $4.
Oh
36
my
items. 36 items, 3 deliveries from Aldi. $4.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, Michael got the celery. You know what I mean?
It's
I have to
a Christmas song for Instacart. Some Tide Pods for Susan, some socks for Michael.
On the 12th day of Christmas, Instacart brought to me crippling anxiety.
On the second day of Christmas, Instacart brought to me 3 angry people and heart full of anxiety. We get to the 12th and you're dead. I'm just like, I'm going to take over. He died at number 9.
One deceased driver.
Five Bloody Marys.
4 celery packets, 3.
It's amazing.
You don't know what it's like to be an immigrant, have nowhere else to go. You've never been an immigrant before, and I'm like, no, I have.
Yeah.
But it never occurred to me that I could just squat there and then be outraged when the Australian government decided to send me home back to America where I belong.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what I meant by that. It's like we give license to people for being in some sort of situation, but it would never have occurred to me to be like, I deserve to live here, even though I've outstayed my welcome.
I picture Australia trying to deport you back to America, and Trump's like, all right, but we're slapping on a 25% tariff on Gitchell.
Yeah.
So if you want him back, you have to pay a 25% tariff. It's only fair. We're making America great.
Yeah, and then the camera turns over, and it's just me, and there's 26 kangaroos behind me, and I'm like, all right, you guys need to go home. And they just go, oh, and just start hopping away.
And then the camera pans back to Trump, and he's like, 50% tariff.
So I'm walking up and down these halls with the marble arches going over us, and I'm showing my kids like this historic building. I've got Graham and Elle, and Graham looks. He starts doing that thing where he's like, he needs to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. Well, I'm just upset, and I'm sorry, Biscuits. I'm ADHD all the way today. You said marble arches, and I just pictured a McDonald's in there, but it's fancy court. It's like the yellow arches, but they're in marble.
Cleveland. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm freaking cold.
Yeah. That's awesome. Cavaliers, call us. We have a new slogan.
And I look in the ball pit, and there is 5 women, like stay-at-home moms, in the ball pit in a circle with like their little tumbler coffees. Like, oh my God, you wouldn't believe what he did. He then he went to the garage and said he was gonna fix it. Oh, he's such a dope. And I'm standing there, and I'm just like, what have I done?
Yeah, you dive right in. Did you dive right in?
I waited until they got out.
I would have laughed. I would have laughed so hard. They're just there, and they hear just like this trembling. They're like, "Oh, must be an earthquake!" And slowly, one of their like coffee mugs starts rising up, and it's just on your head. You're like, "Hi."
Yeah. And they all just they pull out their whistles and start blowing.
Yeah.
But
and you're like, man, are we at a track meet or something? What's going on?
I walk up to the side of it, and I just look at them, and they all turn at me at the same time, like all 5 of these women, and it's just this look on their face like, can we help you?
And you're like, yes, you can.
And then I just walk away, and then I hear in the distance, they're like, oh my God, Cindy, you're such a ditz.
Yeah, oh my gosh, you're so mean to that boy.
And I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, so Garrett gives me this entire like list of things we can put on a topic wheel, like a story wheel, and it's all about him.
I have so many stories. You have no idea. Biscuits, listen. I live a full life.
Obviously, you're not a big boy, so it's not that full.
I have a insane. I mean, you've been along this journey for 37 episodes. Like every single day, I have something that I can share on here, and there's 6 days of the week that I don't get to share things. So I'm trying to figure out how to chronicle these experiences. So I'm like, why don't we put them on a wheel, and then they won't be forgotten?
Yeah.
Like the combs.
So Garrett gives me this list. He's like, hey, you want to start a story wheel? And he gives me like 4 ideas that he's had, and I'm trying to think of stuff I could add too. And one of the topics that completely jumped out to me was ramming my bike into a car. And I literally said, hey, I've done that. Yeah. And you're like, I've done that too. Let's talk about it. So right, you tell me, no, you go first. I want to hear your story.
Well, I just told a story. Oh, you want me to go first so you can? Okay. All right. So this is in Australia. We bought a car for $1,000. It blew up the next week. And so I had to start biking back and forth to school. So sometimes it would get late because at my school we would serve at church for our grades.
Fun.
Yeah. So I'm coming back. I led a team of people who would install like 50-foot walls that would move in on tracks, and we could separate out the sanctuary into classrooms because it was a giant, enormous room. And sometimes it was kind of late because the Sunday night service would run pretty late when you're doing 2 or 3 of them. And so I'm biking home, and in the southern hemisphere, it's a different night sky. Like you look up and it's totally different, like constellations. Orion's not there. Like it's the Southern Cross. Ursa Major's not there. It's different constellations, and it's like a little bit brighter too. So I'm looking up at the night sky, and I'm just like, I'm biking, and like I've got the Australian like backdrop of Sydney back behind, like the glow of the city off in the distance, and then on this side it's like the rural wheat, blowing back and forth. And I pictured
two stalks of wheat and like overalls, like Jebediah, it's gonna be a great harvest this year.
And then my bike is just like,
yeah, it just crumples them immediately.
Yeah. So I'm like, wow, what a beautiful setting. I look up at the sky and I'm like, wow, I'm here in a totally different time zone across the international date line, like on the other side of the earth, down under, and like I'm looking up at the night sky. I'm at this great school that I've always wanted to go to. What a beautiful night. It's a warm breeze. God, you are so amazing. Like, you are so good to me. And look at what you've made. Like, this is so beautiful to be able to look at.
Yeah,
I ran into the hood of a car.
And like any good night. Any good story.
Completely flattened out on the hood of the car, and my feet went over the top of my head and hit the windshield. And my bike just goes and falls on the ground. And I'm just laying there like this, upside down on the hood of this car with my feet on the roof. And I just sit there and I'm just like, and thank you so much for the wonderful...
And thank you so much for good insurance, Scott. Yeah. Was it
I'm
moving?
like,
Was it moving?
No, it was
was somebody in
parked.
it? Okay.
I was just an idiot. I was just looking up way too long.
Yeah.
Just not paying attention.
So I have a very similar story.
Okay, go.
I'm riding my bike in our neighborhood when I was a kid. I was probably like 15.
Already on the edge of my seat.
Excuse me as I sneeze. And I was...
You can't take out the sneezes. Now I have to go find a soundbite.
Yeah, that's good. I was going and I was like, maybe I was like 13.
Is this on Lisa Way?
This was so the whole neighborhood, because where that was, but it wasn't Lisa Way, because Lisa Way, even though it wasn't like a square, once you round the curve, that became a new street.
Right.
Because that's not how streets work. But it was going towards there, and I was riding and I'm just looking at the houses going by and I'm like,
did you do the same thing I
did?
Oh my gosh. I'm not paying attention.
I'm like, guys, I learned something today.
And when you're 13 years old, your world is so full of wonder.
Yeah.
And imagination that there's so many different like things that could have been going through your head. Like Ninja Turtles are so cool.
I'm riding this bike, man. And I'm like looking at all the houses. I'm like, I'm so blessed, being 13, riding bike, living in this neighborhood.
Got my whole life ahead of me.
Got my whole life.
Was that the sound of you jumping onto a car and using your BMX trucks to like grind down the side of it, like in the X Games?
I hit this thing so hard, dude. But as opposed to you, where like you went on the hood of it and like the bike, went on the ground and you're just like hanging backwards.
Yeah.
This was an SUV.
So you bounced off it and hit the fire hydrant.
I hit the back of this thing and the whole bike went into my abdomen. Like,
oh no.
And I fell and I'm like, oh.
Did you get the willy willies where your like stomach goes?
I'm like,
start to throw up.
I'm like, why, God?
He's like, I didn't do anything.
I was just praising you. And there's this giant like later on. There's this giant like welt that will eventually be on like my abdomen for a few weeks. And there's this dent in the back of this car.
Oh no!
And I was like,
did you tell anybody?
And I said, all right.
Oh no.
And my shoulder Reagan, as I call it, had an option for me. It's like an angel, but it was Ronald Reagan.
Okay. Shoulder Reagan.
He's like, well, son, you have two choices. You can go talk to the owner, or you can bike away.
He's like, Lord knows, in the economy that I've built, they can afford to fix it.
No matter what, Reaganomics wins.
And he just goes...
Yeah, and it just disappears.
Except his little American lapel pin is still there, and it just falls to the ground. And goes ding ding ding.
Yeah, and it just like rotates. And then I try to look at my other shoulder. I'm like, where's the other guy? And he poofs.
And
he's
it's
like
Vladimir. What's the guy from Russia? Lenin.
I was gonna say it's William Henry Harrison. I'm like, what took you so long? He was like, I was only president for a month, and then disappears. I'm like,
He's like, make sure you wear your coat.
So I did what any reasonable 13-year-old would do. I got on my bike and I ran.
Of course.
And no one and no one knew. Yeah, nobody knows. But yeah, I dented the back of somebody's car with my bike going probably 12 miles an hour, and I hurt myself pretty bad.
If you
so bad, dude.
If you wanted to rectify this, the journey would be so difficult, because not only would you have to go on Zillow and find when it was sold, you would have to go to public records and find out who owned the house. Then you would have to find them on Facebook and go track them down in Nevada where they live now.
I don't even know exactly whose house it was in front of, nor do I know what type of car it was. All I know is
So you have to like actually also search the family and be like, did you own a?
And they pepper spray my face immediately.
Yes.
Yeah. I honestly don't know what type of car it was. I don't know what color it was. All I know is that the pain that I felt was in the top 5 most painful things I've ever felt in my entire life.
There's no going back.
Yeah. It was awful, dude. I pictured us in Jabba's palace and we're both frozen in carbonite together.
Yeah.
And Leia thinking that it's Han Solo's. It's actually us and we're trying to do it. And Jabba's like, no, and like unfreeze it. And we're both like, and then it unfreezes and we both fall to the ground and you're just breathing heavily and you're just going. And that's why Canada, all of your lakes should have a different name. And I'm just like, Garrett, this is why Canada's freezing us right now because wait, where are we?
And
it's
like,
just in Jabba's palace.
And I'm like, wait, okay. In that case, I'd like to retry that. Canada.
And Leia immediately just freezes us in carbonite again. they moved the Han Solo right after that.
We both freeze at the same time, and we're both in there just like on top of each other's faces like this.
Yeah.
And then Shelby's who is dressed as Princess Leia is like, no, and then she's like, you know what? Actually, this is fine.
No, this is good. This will make for a very quiet ride home.
And she's driving the barge, but we're in the back just like this.
Yeah, just like frozen, but like smiling, like just go frozen in carbonite. That's awesome.
So we go through security, we work our way into the catacombs of the building, and it takes forever to get in there because it's like way deep into the
catacomb. You're just going past all these like skulls on the walls, and you're just like, and there's Moses Cleveland himself, and then Elle's like, dead.
Yeah.
The catacombs of a courthouse.
Graham's like, what are those, Dad? And I'm like, all of the souls who died waiting in line for Top Thrill 2.
All of the souls waiting for Cleveland to win a Super Bowl. Why would it be there? Why are there catacombs in a courthouse, Garrett?
Oh my gosh. Okay, I don't know. It was deep in there, okay? It was just deep in the building.
Catacombs of the courthouse.
So we finally get our way in there, and we get into the courtroom, and all the seats are taken. So it's me, Audrey, Graham, and Elle, and Jordan and Leah. And we look around, and the judge is like, you can take a seat in the jury box. So we have to go into this. It's all of the people in, like, you know, the background of the court. And it's me, Jordan, Leah, Audrey, Graham, and Elle in the jury box, just sitting up there.
Do you
on the side of the courtroom, like over here?
Do you, Rachel, adopt? She's like, yes, and you're like, objection.
Slamming the gavel.
How do you get that gavel?
Yeah, so I'm so glad though that we waited because we were supposed to record yesterday. But we didn't, and I am so glad because I just went downtown with my children to one of our friends' official adoption ceremonies.
Oh, nice. I found out my car was completely out of oil. So I don't know if you want to tell your story first, but
no, let's start with yours. But before we do that, remember when you got engaged and we drove to Chicago?
Yes.
And we stopped, and I was like, I feel like we're supposed to check the car.
Yeah.
Aren't you supposed to check your cars when you drive like 6 hours? And then we stopped right on the outskirts of Chicago.
Yeah.
And we pulled out the dipstick in my car, and it was bone dry. And I was like, well, that can't be good.
How did we make it here?
and then I drove back, and the next week the engine locked up.
Yeah, and it was just like, that's how.
I would pick Chick-fil-A, but when they ask, I would ask for the live chicken. Be like, could you bring me what happens before the restaurant? And then I would just keep them with me so I could have a friend.
You lays an eggs. You're like, see, look at me now. I'm the richest person in America.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, that Gitchell, he's so sweet. Why is he dead on death row? And then you just tear the head off with your mouth.
Yeah.
They're like, that's
They're
why.
like, we got to put this guy down.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I would be laying there in the stirrup thing with my chicken friend.
Yeah.
And just be like, isn't this fun? And then I'd punch him in the side and then get away with the chicken on my head like Link does in Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
And just fly away.
Yeah. Before
no, I think I
yeah.
would do Chick-fil-A, and then I would request to be executed on Sunday.
You're a bad man.
And then I'd be like, looks like you're going to have to find a restaurant, one of them that's open on Sunday. And then when they come back, I'm just gone.
Yeah. Oh. You buy great value flowers.
Which there was none left. We had $10 for gifts. No, it was the before Valentine's Day.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that was another kind of story. I show up to the flower bin, like they put it right at the front of the store.
Yeah.
And everybody knows that you've waited, because you're there and there's no flowers left.
Sure.
And I walk up to this bin and there's all these dead, dying roses, like two other bouquets there, and the other one's like cracked in half.
And you're just like, why couldn't I have married a goth girl?
Yeah.
Those would have been perfect.
The black ones are fine. And I look over and there's this other guy, and he's just standing there, and he's just like, we just connect, and we're just like,
yeah.
We
both chose to go to Walmart at the 11th hour for this.
Yeah, but in my defense, how early was I supposed to buy flowers?
What day was
2
it?
days early?
Was this the 12th?
The night before, yeah.
This
No,
was
the 13th. Yeah.
Oh, you should have had them ready the morning of the 13th and
No,
not
but
the 12th.
how am I supposed to buy them 2 days earlier and keep them hidden for 2 days?
You put them in a vase of water on your desk at work, and then you just bring them home.
She would have seen it.
Is she there?
Yeah, she's there a lot. It's her church.
Do you know how big that church is? You could have hit those anywhere.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. Continue. Continue telling me how I screwed up by going 12 hours early and not 26 hours early.
I'm glad you gave me permission. So here's what you should have.
You've been holding this back all this time.
I haven't even read them yet.
I scrolled back in our text on my computer, and apparently December 14th, I sent you all caps, Frickety McFrickety von Frickerson.
Yeah. I don't remember what it was. Were you editing or something? I don't remember why you said that.
Why did I say that?
I don't know.
Oh boy.
There's just a man who comes out. Yes, you called, and he has like an axe and a giant
thank
beard, and he's from Norway
Yeah.
or Denmark, and you're like, whoa.
And I'm like, oh, I didn't actually think he would show up. And he's like, how dare you use the von Frickerson name in vain?
And he hits you with the axe. I used to DoorDash.
For 3 days, right?
No, I did it for years.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
Yeah. My season would be late spring to like middle of fall.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, I would DoorDash all the time, and I always tried avoiding the grocery order ones.
Yeah,
because there's a you're giving me anxiety with your story. There's a huge chance that they're not going to have the item.
Yeah,
and so you get 66 items, but maybe you got 45 of them.
Well, there's a protocol for that, and that's happened twice.
But it's anxiety-inducing, and then like the timer that's counted down is like, you should be done by this time according to our stats, and it's just like, bro, I've never been in the store before. I have no idea where anything is.
Yeah, right. It's definitely rough, but they usually make it worth your time. If you're doing over 50 items, it's like, $30 or $40 or something.
You finish, and they're like, here's a Chuck E. Cheese pizza.
I drag my broken legs up to the Instacart home offices. I'm like, I'm done. And they're like, here's a token.
Yeah, one Chuck E. Cheese token. Where's the nearest Chuck E. Cheese? You're like, they just all went bankrupt. What?
Yeah, by the way, your next order is due in 5 minutes.
Oh my gosh, it's so true.
You got the picture of me in my red pants, right? That I sent to you.
Yeah, I'm like, why is he wearing red pants? I've never seen you. You're in your emo phase again.
I still have all my clothes from, before.
Oh, so you fit into everything still.
I wear them, when I'm out and stuff, but when I come to work at church, people make fun of me, so I just wear jeans.
You are every woman's envy.
Yes, being able to fit in 00 skinny pants
the
and go to a
same clothes
rock
you
show.
wore back in high school. Yeah, everybody's jealous of you.
It's awesome.
But your doctor's like, no, do not be envious of this man. He is sick.
Quite insane.
Yeah, he is sick. They take a blood test and it's just like, look at this. He is dying.
Yeah. They put my blood droplets under a microscope, and it's just like little swarmies, but they're tacos.
Yeah, they're just, and then you see
in
the
his
doctor.
DNA.
I pictured the scene perfectly. The doctor goes, he takes his head up from the microscope, and the camera zooms out, and the nurse is looking all concerned, and he stops smoking his pipe, and he goes, "He's more taco than man now."
I walk out with Audrey, and he's just like, "Have a good day," and then he pulls her aside, and he's like, "No, seriously, he has about 3 days to live."
Yeah, have a great rest of your week, and then he looks at Audrey because the rest of the week is all he has.
Yeah.
And when I was walking up, I was like, "How much further till the top?"
And I'm just on the top with like an alpine climbing rope, and you're just like dangling off the bottom, and I take out the scissors and I go, "Sp, sp."
Long live the king.
You just go right on the floor
Yeah,
because
and
you're
I
1
just-
foot away.
And baby Graham just crawls up and takes a pot and just smacks me in the face with it. Yeah. And then a car is going by, and I'm like, "Oh, maybe I'm gonna wave." And then you literally hear the noise from like a Hanna-Barbera cartoon where my feet go whoop, 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 whoop,
Yeah.
and I fell.
Oh my gosh.
And dude,
Okay, hold on. Was it the completely your feet go out from underneath you and there's an inch of air and then you slam into the ground, or was it maybe if I like collapse on my knee first and then I topple over and then I fall into the bush?
You know
or was it like a wham on the driveway on your head?
you know how you lay on the couch on your side with your
Yeah.
feet? That's exactly what I was in the air.
Okay.
I was like, I'm like, huh? Like, you literally heard me accept it. Like, here I go.
So
And
it was one of those. It was long enough in the air to know. Oh,
I knew.
This is going to hurt now.
I'm like, here I go. Shoulder first, then hip.
Yeah. Oh my
And
gosh, dude.
I laid on my
There's
shoulder.
those,
and I'm
because
like,
there's those falls that you kind of have hope. You're like, I can catch myself.
yeah.
And then there's ones you're just like, I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
toast.
No,
Yeah.
I was in the air, and literally the song in the background was na 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 na. Yeah, and I'm just slowly going down, and I'm like, did I leave the stove on?
Yeah.
And I hit the ground. The reason why I'm a little nervous is because I'm reading my notes of what we have planned for the biscuits and most importantly, each other. And it says opening shenanigans, which never is a good sign.
We didn't get to it either.
Which is
yeah.
never a good sign. And then it says pumpkin bug.
Okay, you ready to hear a story?
I'm going to give you your time to shine because I'm nervous.
What's the opposite of shine?
Darkness. Complete.
So depending on
that's-
how everybody feels after this, we'll see if it was my time to shine or make everybody feel like they're in dim darkness.
That's
so,
why the opposite of a star is a black hole, Garrett.
Yeah. That's really interesting.
Yeah, it's
You just
not.
sparked something up there.
Oh, dear
And you just
God.
see my brain just going pss, pss,
Yeah,
pss.
spaghettify. Yeah, it's spaghettifying in a black hole.
So I walked into my bathroom this morning.
Already off to a good start.
Don't. I walked in with my coffee. Okay, so I walk in and it's like there's a man in a suit over here, like a Middle Eastern man in a suit, and like two women having a conference over there in like nice dresses, and then
And
like
two bodyguards.
yeah, no, seriously.
Yes, I know.
I walk in and yeah, that's the music that's playing.
Yep, I know.
And I walk in with a gallon of milk, a gallon of whole milk, and I'm not kidding. Everyone in the whole place
Stops
just
and
slowly
looks.
turns.
Yes.
The music just dies down. It was like in the old Western saloons.
Oh,
You know what I
man.
mean? Like when the cowboy walks in and all like the ruffians and
Yeah.
thugs are like, "You're not from these parts, are you?" You know what I mean?
Here for Doc Brown.
And the honky tonk piano stops and like
Yeah.
everybody's like turns
You
and he
hear
takes
one-
off his hat.
Yeah, you hear one glass breaks like in
Yeah.
the background, and
Yeah.
like
And they're like, "Yeah, no, that's what it was."
yep.
And like they're like, "What's that behind you?" And I turn and it's like Wally the alligator. We finally found him.
Yeah. Oh yes, that's right. That's a callback.
So I'm just like, I smile, and then all the music just like everyone just starts turning back to each other like da-na-na-na-na-na-na. Yeah. And I walk up to the counter and the guy just has this look of horror. Like on his like the cashier guy.
Like,
and I'm
why?
like, Instacart. And he goes,
I hope we're friends forever since I can't sing to you. Here's a song.
there you go.
So I have one thing to say about this. Once it
What?
turns off,
Okay, just wait
It's-
for it. Is it gonna keep going?
Garrett, it's not turning off.
Well, now you're turning it on more. Are you trying to crush it?
It's not turning off.
Are you trying to crush it? What are you doing?
It's not turning off. It's not turning off.
Okay, just go inside and maybe you can disassemble it or something. You like the song?
I am freaking out. Stop!
I kind of like it. Did you pull out? Did you pull out the tab? There we go.
I've silenced it.
Happy
Okay.
birthday.
I appreciate it, dude. We're doing 10?
Yeah. Did
goodness.
you guess what it was this time?
Yeah, the moment you said boots and then you said siesta, I'm
Yeah.
like, ah.
The biggest boot in the world.
Yeah.
I was hoping that would throw you off.
I pictured a giant boot at
Yeah.
first, and I'm like, I know America has a giant wheel
Yeah.
of cheese.
Like one of those big boots with like the gold buckles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed it's kicking Sicily?
Yeah. It's like, get out of here.
Yeah.
We never wanted you.
We want to be here too. Notice how they both sound the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Audrey and I sailed by Italy one time.
So did the Allies before they landed. And then I went to church and I taught her a lesson for her because that's what I do because I love her.
Yeah.
Come to find out,
I just see you walking in, but it's like a professor setting, and you have a tweed jacket with those elbow pads.
the elbow pads, yeah.
And you just like straighten up your papers, like, and you're like, were dinosaurs in the Bible? And then they're like, Mr. Myers, this is ridiculous. And you're like, "Huh." And then you just slowly lift up a dinosaur puppet.
Yeah.
You're like, and then you go, I'm a Jesusaurus Rex. Oh man.
Oh my gosh.
And
They're
then
like,
it just
"Mr.
cuts to a shot of Shelby in bed just going, just getting more comfortable.
Like, Mr. Myers, is this necessary? And I just put the dinosaur puppet down and I'm like, I don't know. Is going to a fake art trying to line up biblical history with real history necessary?
Yeah.
Any questions? Yeah.
And every hand just goes,
Yeah, immediately. Like, did you know that, during the time of King David? I'm like, hey, did you know during the time of shut up?
Ours was called STAR.
Oh, no. Yeah,
Star testing.
Star
Stood for
testing.
it stood for something. I don't know.
Because when
what it
you're in
was.
California, you are all superstars.
One of the stars.
Yeah.
Good luck with Matthew McConaughey.
You ever take your senior test in Lincoln?
At one point, I couldn't tell if I was doing homework or if homework was doing me.
All I know is whenever I go to take my STAR test, ACT or SAT, I like to put the Lincoln in cruise control and go down the highway while taking my test. Wearing sunglasses.
Nice.
You know who's not wearing sunglasses? Lincoln.
Yeah.
'Cause he's dead. And it just has Lincoln, like the brand, and then a question mark after it.
Yeah. It is illegal to milk someone else's cow. So cancel our plans.
Okay, yeah, so we can't go to Texas.
Yeah.
We're going to push it over, then we're going to milk it.
Yeah, you just see these shadows in at like nighttime, and it's us like
just
like
sneaking
creeping
around,
up towards
yeah.
the cow, and this flashlight just goes click onto us, and he's like, "Hold on a minute, you two," and he's like, That's not a milk cow.
Yeah. He just points a gun at us. He's like, are you here to tip it or milk it? And we look at each other. We're like, tip
What
it?
gets this? What? He's like, oh, okay then.
No, that's fine.
And then just goes
walks
back.
away.
Oh man. And then his wife inside is like, did you shoot him? And he's just like, it was just some gators.
But they were just some gator. And then he comes back the next morning, he goes to milk his cow, and he notices it's empty. He's like, wait, son of a...
I've been had.
And we're just running with these like pails of milk.
Half sloshed out, just empty.
It's sloshed.
And then we just fall down the hill.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Do you
And
hear that howling in the background?
Yeah, it's here too.
Yeah,
it's
that's my cat.
Oh.
That's Peppermint.
I thought it was the weather. I thought her name was
Nala.
Snowball.
Nala, it's Nala. She likes to go down to the basement and just howl
Yeah.
and ask questions.
How is Mufasa and Snowflake? How are they?
It's been like 2 years. How do you not know the name of my cats? I don't even have any kids, Garrett. This isn't hard.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, Simba.
We could put you on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire for $100. It'll be, what are the names of Seth's cats?
Yeah, I would sit down immediately and what's his name? Philbin.
Yeah, well, that's what his name was.
Yeah, I would sit down and he'd be like, "Here's $1 million." And I'd be like, "I don't even have to." He's like, "Nope, just get out.
Just please.
We'll pay you $1 million to
We
not play
talked
this."
with a network. They can take the hit. Just go.
Everybody, after
67.
after how many weeks? How many weeks have been waiting for this?
Oh my gosh, I don't know, because we talked about a few episodes ago about how you're getting a psychiatric evaluation.
you and
then it
I
was
have
an
been waiting
ADHD
for, like-
test. Now it's been an IQ test.
At least a month of waiting. It is
At
now
least.
going to finally be revealed that my IQ is as the drums start to roll.
Whopping.
1.
Okay.
That's it. It's 1.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So Garrett is full brainstem.
It's 1. My IQ is 1.
Yeah, he can breathe and nothing more.
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
111. That is my IQ.
Okay, now here's the awesome thing about all this, okay? I have no idea what that means. Because I think last week you told me all the brackets, and I'm actually the one, I think, with ADHD out of the two of us, and I'm like, huh? What do all that mean? So what is a 111? Nice 111, by the way, really easy to remember.
Yeah.
And
She's
that.
just used to getting let down. So basically, I was like, so this year needs to be a Whopper of
You
a
should
present.
you should get her a Whopper.
What? She's like, what is this? And she throws it down on the ground. I'm like, wait. This is so you can finally have it your way.
Oh my gosh.
And then she just takes out a shotgun and just goes, chick.
She calls in 2 grimaces from McDonald's, and they just
Take 'em,
wail on
boys.
you. Yeah, take them away. And Elle's like, new dads.
Yeah. They drag me to Audrey's like preschool closet with all of the utensils and tools for preschool, and they slowly shut the door like the Chokey. And I'm like, no.
I don't put enough paint on when I do
You're
it.
trying to save.
It's really just like, I don't want these big giant globs of paint in it to be uneven, so I'm like and I try to get more out of my roller than I can. So we always have to put 2 coats on because I will never learn.
Yeah.
So, and then what made it worse was
I just saw you at the top of Mount Everest, and there's that pole, and you're just like, and slowly you pull out a roller,
yeah.
and you just paint over the German flag.
Yeah, and you're just painting
it's red, white, and blue.
And it's just painting it red, white, and blue. And then I fall over and I'm looking at it and I'm slowly going unconscious. I'm like, that's gonna need a second coat.
Yeah, it's just been my own. It's just been my own thoughts and my own brain thus far. So I'm finally getting to introduce this to the world. I've been keeping it a secret because it has to do with my wife's birthday.
Oh, okay, cool.
And
I thought it was a business idea. I'm like, Garrett, you have ran me dry with all your business ideas right now. I have no money
All
to
right.
give.
here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna start on the East Coast. I'm gonna start on the West Coast. We're gonna work our way towards the middle, and we're gonna call it the Union Pacific. And whoever gets there first, we're gonna drive in the golden microphone.
And then all that.
And then I
fails.
turn around, and you're just
Yeah.
getting shot by Indians, Native Americans.
You just come up to me. You're like, all right, chicken and waffles. I'm like, yes. And you're like, chicken and pancakes.
But it's not what you think, and it's an
Yeah.
actual chicken, and he's just choking on a pancake.
You're like, this is how we're going to get our chicken. I'm like, Garrett, PETA's coming after you.
We knock on each other's hands, me and Elle, when she's sitting on my lap. I go like this, and she goes, knock, knock, and then I open it, and there's either, like, people inside.
Wait, what do you, like fingers?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. I pictured like little drawings of her crushing people. Like there's people inside my
Yeah.
hand. It's like, oh, okay.
Surprise, they're dead.
Oh gosh. And you just hear a speed dial going to a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
And you pick up the phone. They're like, Wendy's Mason, how can I help you? You're like, oh, thank God. I'll take one Baconator.
Yeah.
Sir, this is
Well,
a
we were
Wendy's.
dead inside, but now we're looking forward to chili.
Yeah.
So I knocked on her. She was like, Daddy, and she holds it up like this. And I was like, oh, cool. And I'm like, knock, knock. And then she opens, and she's just like, cheese. And there was shreds of cheese inside that fell all
like
over the
legit?
cushion.
She
Yeah.
just had cheese in her.
Yeah, and then a bunch of shreds of cheese fall out on the floor, and I'm like,
You go and you knock on her hand. You're like, knock, knock. She's like, knock, knock. You're like, who's there? She's like, rat poison.
yeah.
And he just blows it in your face. And
Like,
you're just like, oh, God.
Just cuts to a shot of me in an ambulance with a mask on my face.
My girl is so creative.
Yeah. And they just turn to her, and she's just inserting a syringe into my arm.
Yeah. She's like, quit screaming.
So I'm driving home, and I'm like, man, this thing really smells like it was just running. And I'm thinking to myself, like,
It was.
Yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, so I just put a running gasoline powered piece of equipment in my car.
As you slowly pass out from fumes,
Exactly.
going on the freeway with your dying breath.
That's exactly.
You pull out your phone and like send him an emoji of a car crash.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. And then I'm like, well, I know if you you start your car with your garage door shut, that's not good. And I'm like, well, I really don't want to like start hallucinating or anything with this thing in my truck or the thing in the back of my car. And I turned to the passenger seat and I'm like, what do you think, Mr. Purple Elephant? He's like, I think you should open a window. And I'm like, good idea.
Yeah.
And I rolled down the window and I'm like, and then 34-degree wind chill just smacking me in the face as I'm driving half an hour. And I'm like, at least we're going to get through this together. And I look and he's just gone from the passenger seat.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
And instead there's like a beefy German in your back seat, and you look back. He's like, I think it feels nice.
Shut up, Hans. So yeah, that was me hallucinating when I was driving the snowplow or the
That's
snowblower
funny.
in the back of my car.
I'm glad you
with no
made it.
windows open on my way back home.
Kind of expecting this like this grunting, bemoanced like anger returning back, like, let me tell you something, bucko.
Yeah.
About painting. And she responds with, oh, the worst part about painting is actually the cleanup, which you still have to do. So I do kind of feel sorry for you. And I was like, I wasn't expecting sympathy.
I was trolling you.
It's like, I don't know what to do now.
And you are showing me kindness.
Like, I literally don't know what to do now. So she's just a really nice individual.
And at that moment, Scared Kixel's heart grew 3 times its size that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you just get on this giant sled and you have this talk. You're like, go, Max, go! Bam, 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 bam.
Except it pans back, but instead of panning forward to that dog, it pans backwards, and it's a turtle just bumping down the hill, going boom, boom, boom,
Yeah,
boom,
just
boom, boom,
rolling, and
being
you're just in
dragged.
this sled in a Christmas costume, and like all the Who's are down in Whoville have no idea you're on your way.
And I'm like,
they're
where's Max?
Yeah, they're like, look, Snickers, up there. What is that? And it's just you on a giant sled. They're like, oh, it's Garrett the Grinch and he can't stop. And you just run over 17 of them with your sled. You're like, hey, everyone, Christmas is saved. I don't know why I named the Who Snickers. I kind of want a chocolate bar, and I feel like that's a Who name.
Snow days are always so special because like they're a surprise. These snow days are a little bit different though, because like we haven't like gotten back from Christmas break yet. So it's just an extension of Christmas break, it feels like. And we're hitting that point right now where it's starting to feel more like summer because like I've just been like inactive.
Oh
entire
yeah,
time.
Right. Your demeanor, your entire body is being sent the signal that it's time to relax.
Yeah. It's like, you don't have to do anything.
You
but
can
then,
turn off.
Yeah. But I don't, because tomorrow I definitely believe we're going back to school. So I still have a 3-day week in front of me. And I had to completely change my lesson plans from everything that I was going to do this week.
Yeah, you're just sitting down and your brain is like, body disengaging, and then you're like, wait, what? And it's like, brain removal beginning in.
Wait, hold on.
wait.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. And then it stops. And I hold out an Oreo. And
I want to eat my last meal.
It just gets chopped in half, like with the cream, so it's like perfectly round on both sides. I'm like, I've always wanted to do that. You may continue.
Yeah. Cuts to a shot of you're in front of all your students, and you're like, turn to the page purple.
Turn to page purple, please, and take out your erasers.
So I'm riding. I'm doing my thing. Thursday night, I'm on my new KTM 2-stroke. I'm turning right, and I'm going, and I hear this guy coming behind me really fast. And I'm I look to my right, and I'm like, he's not making it through between me and the edge of the track.
It's funny how he didn't know that.
Yeah. What?
But you did.
Was he an A, B? Or would
He
you
was
all,
an A.
Oh,
Oh,
so
yeah.
you were all ready to go.
Really
so,
fast. And you know what? He's a bigger guy.
Yeah.
So I kind of steer to the left a little bit.
Yeah.
Bam. We collide.
Oh, my God.
Into your back?
Nope. He grabbed my handlebar
Oh.
with his handlebar
Okay.
and drug me, and I kind of went sideways and into his rear tire.
Jeez
Oh, my
Louise,
Yeah,
dude.
at about 30 miles an hour. So he sucked me into his rear tire,
Wait,
Drug
like
me.
between the ground and the tire?
between the fender and the tire.
Oh.
Yeah. So the tire's spinning this way, and
So
the
you got
fender's up
wedged.
here. So shot me in.
No, I'm
Yep.
sorry I asked about this.
That's why it broke all 13 of my ribs, only on the left side, front and back. Yeah, I
you were-
realized
you were
when I
out.
was being drugged, I'm like, this can't be good. And
You don't say.
Hold on, wait.
That was the
Can't be
thought that
good.
happened. Yeah.
This can't be good.
This probably isn't good.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was facing the opposite direction. I'm like, this can't be good.
No.
I was looking back where I
Well,
was
this
coming
can't be
from.
good.
And we went and got Vietnamese and then went up to the tower, and everybody had to pay for parking, and I felt like a jerkhole.
Lovely.
And then at the end of the night, or actually, I should tell the, you would think this is funny. There was only one table in the room, and so I'm thinking to myself, how are we going to play board games with 3 different board games if there's only one table?
Right.
So I stole a table from church. And
A white
park-
foldable one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so you know how in
Yeah.
downtown areas, like you have to park and then walk like blocks?
Yeah.
So I got this like foldable table. It's like 3 by 2.5. So it's not a full 6-foot table, but it's big enough to, too big to be a backpack or whatever. But enough that you have to carry it with both hands.
Yeah.
And as you know, Ohio is disastrously cold and windy right now.
Yeah, it's awful.
So I park my car and I'm heading up to bring this folding table, this like 3 foot, 4 foot. Actually, I think it's 4 feet, 4 foot by 2.5 foot long folding table, and I'm dragging it through downtown. And there's just these homeless people and like drug addicted
Shelter!
people just looking at me,
Yeah.
like dragging a table. And then the wind starts blowing.
Oh, no.
It's like, and then
Yeah.
it goes up, and I'm like, oh God.
Yeah.
And then I go to, like how you get between the 2 tall buildings and the wind just funnels.
Yeah, it's like a wind tunnel.
Yeah. This van pulls up beside me, and like this family gets out and like scurry into the restaurant.
Uh-huh.
And the dad gets out and the mom gets out, and they're just looking at me, just shaking their head like this.
Yeah, they're
And the
just like-
wind blew, and I swear it turned into a sail. And I'm just like,
Yeah, you just happen to like
You're in the air and you land on a trash can lid and you're just going down the streets with the wind blowing with the table in the air and you're
I'm
just
like,
surfing
it's
down.
okay, it's my birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the wind is blowing this table like in the air and I'm holding onto it. And instead of helping me, they just decided to shrug their shoulders and walk inside the building. Yeah. So I put my headphones on.
If that was spaghetti, we would split it in half.
This little thing was just all frizzy out in front.
Look at it.
So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put that back. And then I stretched it out and I wound it up like this. And then it fell and I was like, you know what? I'm keeping it.
You know what? This is the premise for every shampoo commercial. So I struck my hair and I thought, wow, how lush, how savory, Pantene.
And they're like, they look around and I'm gone.
Yeah.
And they're like, where did he go? And they just turn around and I just pop up through the water like an Irish Spring in slow motion. It's just like, pshh. And I'm like, Gitchell Springs.
And then you're immediately tackled by SeaWorld security.
An anaconda comes out and just wraps its body around me.
Yeah. And then it slowly puts you underwater. It's like an anaconda perfume. Take a grip on your life.
So I just proceed to just focus on Elle. We go up the ramp. We go down the slides. We cooked food together, in the little play kitchen. It was so magical.
Yeah.
And we went on the trampoline, and there's like a basketball hoop. And Elle gives me the basketball, and I'm like, you know how I have this weird thing I have to impress my children?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to make this hoop, and she's going to think I'm so cool.
It's almost traumatic, the way you have to impress your kids.
Yeah, it's not healthy at all.
It's almost like you thought to yourself, you know what? If I'm not going to make any friends out here, I'm going to make my own.
I'm going to literally create them.
I'm going to create my own friends.
So she hands me the ball, and she says, go, Daddy. And I'm like, awesome, cool. So I throw the basket. I like aim. I do the little jump. I make sure I follow through, and it totally bombs. And Elle looks up at me and she goes, Daddy, that's why you're not a big boy.
Oh. Daddy, that's why you don't play for the NBA.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, we can't, who fits under that anyway? A 3-foot blanket?
Yeah.
What are you going to do with that?
Yeah. That's not a blanket. That is a washcloth.
Yeah. That is a towel.
That is a towel, ma'am. Yeah. For $87.
Yeah. So she starts going through this, and I just go, we're not interested in that. Just to be a little firmer. And she goes, okay.
Okay. All right.
And so then she starts listing the fees that we have to pay, right?
Oh my gosh.
And she's like, okay, well, it's let's start talking through these. $59 for the session fee. And Audrey goes, whoa, no, hold on. I was told that we didn't have to pay a session fee. And she was like, yeah, that's on Thursdays. This is Friday.
Oh my dear God.
And so she starts copying an attitude with Audrey.
No, that's not a good idea.
That is when I lost it.
Yeah, that's not a good idea, Garrett. That's not. Oh no. I feel like I should have come I was a janitor in the back with like a big Mario mustache and I just shout out, "They're from California.
Yeah.
The niceness is a front. They will wreck you."
Yeah.
Sarah says this, hey, rank your favorite fast food restaurants based solely on if you are on death row. Which one would you most likely pick as your last meal? And I need to stop right there.
Oh, jeez.
Because I need to find out why the both of us are on death row.
The actual question is, how have we avoided it so far?
Yeah. So, okay, I want to...
Because
are we there?
Because last episode we talked about how if we had the opportunity and we were born last century, we could potentially become milk thieves.
Okay. So we're on death row in 1905 because we stole a bunch of pails of milk after pushing over Mr. Warner's cow.
I want to say it's because we were in Australia and we set up a bunch of scarecrows around the governor's mansion.
No,
and he came out and had a heart attack and died.
I picture us in Australia with cameras on and Hawaiian shirts on, and be like, wow, all these British people are pretty lazy. And there's me this big jail cell shuts, and there's an electric chair just right down the hall. And we're just like, one of you are going first.
Yeah.
What do you want as a last meal? And I'm like, Outback? And they're like, it's 5 minutes sooner now.
Yeah. And I look up and I'm like, So in your country, you just call this regular food?
Oh my gosh.
Like steakhouse. So I go through 280 questions.
Oh my gosh.
And the little progress bar is not even
It's not moving.
It's not even to halfway.
Yeah. Oh my
280 questions.
That's amazing.
And these are questions like they were so weird. They go from like very lighthearted to extremely heavy. So it would be like, do you like puppies?
No.
And I'd be like, yes. And the next one would be like, do you see things that other people don't see?
And is it multiple choice or is it extended response?
It's true and false.
I would have, if there was an extended response to that question and they would have asked me, do you see things other people don't see? And I would say, yeah, they're full potential.
Yeah. Do other people get things that you don't? Do other people see things that you don't tend to see? Yeah, a decent paycheck.
I mean, am I right? And the computer has just a white glove come out and smack you twice in the face, and then just goes back in again.
Or it's like it got like an old style fax machine that's just like, and it just says you're horrible.
Yeah, you suck.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's a really interesting story. If you should, people who are interested in history should look up the story of the Alamo. It's quite fascinating.
Yeah, I know the Alamo. They were the Mexican troops, man, were brutal. Like in that scenario, like they were very, they were very brutal. But at the same time, American encroachment into Mexico was nothing to be ignored either during that time.
Right. It's not like they didn't have it coming at some point.
Yeah, it's not like Mexico's just like, nope, we're going to brutalize these people. It's like, we've given you 5 chances.
Yeah.
Cinco.
Did you know that the Mexican army tried to stop Lewis and Clark?
I did not know that.
They said Thomas Jefferson sends out Meriwether Lewis and William Clark on the trail, and the Mexican president was like, "You're not gonna go across my country," and then sends out this army, and then they all went to go find them to stop them from like navigating further into the interior, and then they got there and they're like, "Oh, we can't find them."
Yeah.
And they went back to the Mexican president and they're like, "We couldn't find them."
You're telling me you couldn't find 7
2 people
in the middle of this vast woodland?
Yeah.
Nope.
Did you search every hill and valley? But yeah, I just think that's the most funniest thing ever, that the Mexican president sent an army to find them, and they came back and they were like, he's like, "Well," they were just like,
they're like, "Oh yeah, Earth's a lot bigger than we thought it was."
Garrett, how you doing, pal?
"Long time no see, man."
Yeah, it's literally been no
5
time
seconds.
at all because this is a super episode for us, though for you biscuits it's been a week for this review episode.
You guys missed a lot in between.
I don't think we said one word to each other.
I don't think we said a single word.
Stops recording and we're like the Beatles. All right, I'm going to this side, you go to that side. Get me back when we're doing another song.
I just bring back a picture of a clown.
Why would it be a clown?
What can we do with this?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. Hey there, all you Banter biscuits out there. Welcome to another edition of Banter Gravy Scrubs Review. How you doing, Garrett?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I just got done being a part of a funeral, and we were just talking about it, and Seth was telling me about what he'd like me to do with his body when he dies.
It's PG. You could talk about it.
He told me to find a hole and put you in it, just somewhere in town near Main Street. And the only thing I thought of with your plan, though, that you didn't think about was, I thought maybe it'd be fun to put your hand up above ground so you could high five people as they parade by.
And the hand, like after the 7th person, it just falls off. I also told Garrett, I want you to bury me. I want Main Street to be closed. He's like, yeah, I can do that. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I want you to bury me
in Main Street,
a 4-way
USA
intersection. Like, unearth the street and put me down there.
Yeah.
I want the whole street to be shut
Everyone's
down.
just honking, and I'm just like waving them off. I'm like, I'm grieving.
It's what he wanted. It's what he wanted.
They're like, there's a manhole over there, and I'm like, oh.
He prefers to be called whole man, sir.
Could you do the same thing with me, but put me at the top of Mount Everest so that I can high five people as they reach the top?
People would be so upset, dude. Like, you know how like sometimes they send like rescue teams or like body recovery teams up there? They're like finally like there was an 8-person team and only 5 of them made it to the top to like get this body down, and then they just see a helicopter and it just drops your corpse right on the top and,
like,
it just flies away. Yeah, and they're just looking at the helicopter and looking at you, and they're just like,
I have my hand up, but I have a dead smile. Like,
yeah, you're yeah, your face is all just smiling, but you're like staring in the distance, like with a hand up.
Mandy told me she wanted to become an hourglass. And I'd lost it. I fell on the floor of the sound booth.
I want to become an hourglass so I can constantly remind people of their own mortality.
It's an 80-year the one. So
Yeah.
when your first grandchild is, or your first great grandchild is born, they just turn you over and they're like,
Yeah.
clock's ticking.
You have someone who's like 35 who's like extremely happy that they scored well on some sort of thing. And on the hourglass, your plate just has 3 hours left. You're like, you happy right now? Because this is probably the peak of your life, pal.
All right.
Oh, boy.
Then came math.
Oh, no, I would have been done. Yeah, no, that. Oh, no.
This destroyed me. Absolutely in every way. Emotionally, physically, spiritually, I felt the worst. I had to like give myself a pep talk after. Like, hey, remember, Garrett, remember your kids love you. Audrey stayed with you for 15 years.
I have a podcast. I have a mildly successful podcast.
Yeah.
And you just hear me, if you don't pass the math portion, Garrett, I swear to God, I'm leaving this podcast.
Yeah.
And you're like looking around, and then you see me across the street in another building with binoculars.
Yeah. Episode 40, I just pop into Jack Trip, and you're sitting there with Louis Howell, or what's his name? The bald guy.
Howie Mandel?
Howie Mandel.
Oh, where's my
I just
test?
pop in.
I totally got that one. Yeah.
And he's just there, and I'm like, who is this, Seth?
That wasn't Howie Mandel.
Oh.
Are you talking about Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
No. That was Regis Philbin.
Yeah. Wait.
No.
No,
But
yeah.
that would be a better host.
Yeah, but that's where you call in a friend. What game show are you talking about?
I was talking about, didn't he do the briefcase game?
Deal or No Deal? We are talking
Yeah.
about the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, can
yeah.
you call a friend into that?
Yeah. No, I don't think you can.
Oh, okay.
What would you ask them?
I don't know.
What
Which
briefcase
case?
do you think it's in?
Which case? Sarah says this. Hey, rank your favorite fast food restaurants based solely on if you are on death row. Which one would you most likely pick as your last meal? And I need to stop right there.
Oh, jeez.
Because
Okay.
I need to find out why the both of us are on death row.
The actual question is, how have we avoided it so far?
Yeah. So, okay, I want to...
Because
are we there?
Because last episode we talked about how if we had the opportunity and we were born last century, we could potentially become milk thieves.
Okay. So we're on death row in like 1905 because we stole a bunch of pails of milk after pushing over Mr. Warner's cow.
I want to say it's because we were in Australia and we set up a bunch of scarecrows around the governor's mansion.
No,
and he came out and had a heart attack and died.
I picture us in Australia with like cameras on and like Hawaiian shirts on, be like, wow, all these British people are pretty lazy. And there's be like this big jail cell shuts, and there's an electric chair just right down the hall. We're just like, when you are going first.
Yeah.
What do you want as a last
Yep.
meal? And I'm like, Outback? And like, it's 5 minutes sooner now.
Yeah. And I look up and I'm like, so in your country, you just call this regular food?
Oh my gosh.
Like steakhouse. And I'm like finishing my coffee and I look in the sink
Oh my gosh.
and he's there.
And there he
on
is.
the top of the chrome thing again.
That's so awesome.
and I look down at him and I swear he looks up at me and he goes, "Hey,
This time
what was that about?"
This time he's like wringing out his antennae.
Yeah.
He's
he
like,
looked
Yeah.
so mad.
oh man.
I was like, I just killed you.
Yeah. And he's like, welcome to Dragon Ball.
Yeah. And then he goes, "Ka me."
You're like, wait,
and then
wait,
just
wait.
like reels back.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So, okay, let me get this straight. You were taking a shower,
Yeah.
and there was this helpless, defenseless creature, and
Correct.
you decided, I am going to kill him.
Yes.
And you washed him down the drain.
Yeah.
And you get out of your shower, and he is still standing back where you found him.
He went right back to where he was originally. Yeah.
I'm
He's
just
like,
picturing him
"Guess
saying,
what?
I'm just picturing him saying, he takes a giant puff of his cigarette. He's like, you should have gone for the jugular. And then he attacks you. He's like, jumps right on your face. You're like, oh God, no, come on.
All of the other bugs just crawl out and they're holding me down. And
Yeah.
they're like, he's like going inside my ear. He's like, he's like, not the first hole I've gone down today, sucker.
Yeah.
So I start to head back to the house, and I just truck through it. It was miserable. The wind's blowing.
Yeah.
The dead trees. I look up like,
Yeah. They're like, what are you doing?
yeah.
Why would you do that? You're almost 40.
Yeah.
Go take a break.
Our limbs are the way that you should be looking right now.
Looks like you're more weeping willow tree than we are.
I like the trees in my neighborhood.
And then there's one tree walking around with two hobbits like, destroyed? No, Saruman is the friend of the tree.
Is that an
and then,
int?
Yeah,
An
and
int?
then from Lord of the Rings, and
What
then he
do
looks at
ints
you.
say? I don't know what
and he's
they
like,
say.
who's this orc?
Just hits me with his branch.
I love the Lord of the Rings
As
cameo.
they fly
That's
into the
perfect.
lake.
Yes.
Well, hey everyone, that's a wrap. I want to say thank you so much for joining us on this leg of the journey. I also want to echo Seth in saying that we so appreciate you being a part of this. This has been one of the most enriching, most fun experiences of my life. Seth and I hope to be doing this for quite a while. That's provided that he doesn't murder me and or Audrey does not poison me and smother me with a pillow in my sleep. I hope to be doing this with Seth for a while. And lastly, I want to remind you all that you have the opportunity to come hang out with us this Monday. That's April the 28th. That's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't know why it's called standard. Is there like an unstandard? And what we are starting, and hopefully a fruitful tradition of biscuits and gravy. That's when you get to come hang out with us. Join with us in celebrating our 50th show. I can't even believe I'm saying those words. It doesn't sound real. But celebrate with us. Come join us on YouTube. You can talk to us, chat with us, be a part of some really cool, fun things that we have in store to celebrate our 50th episode. And we hope to see you there. Thanks. Bye.